The new AER City Collection launches today. I've had my hands on it for about a month now, and I'm really excited to share my thoughts with all of you. We have the new AER City Pack, the City Sling 2, and the Split Kit here. Without any further ado, let's jump into it. A couple of quick disclosures. AER did send these out for me to test and try, but they're not sponsoring today's video. They're not seeing this beforehand. They didn't even request that I make this video, so my thoughts are entirely my own, and I am excited to share them with you. We're going to be starting off with the City Pack 2. I'm going to put these aside for now. So the City Pack is a 14-liter backpack, comes in at $149. It comes in the 1680D Cordura fabric that you see here. That's traditionally the fabric that is used in a lot of AER's backpacks. Comes in this black color that you see in mine here, as well as a gray and an X-Pack version. Going over some of the exterior features and design, as usual, AER continues to utilize their design language. It's really an if it ain't broke, don't fix it sort of thing. You see a lot of similarities from past airbags here. This is going to be really similar to the tech bag in a lot of ways, but then you do have some of the design features like from the travel pack with this split down the middle here. It's a really great hybrid of features from the rest of their lineup, and this has quickly become my favorite just grab and go day bag when I'm getting around the city and need to carry a little bit more than what can be held in a sling. You have nice chunky YKK zippers across the entire thing. AER zippers tend to be my favorite out of most of the bags I review, and you also have Duraflex hardware as well, so just really nice sturdy chunky hardware. The airbags always have that sort of subtle techwear sort of vibe, so they're going to be a little bit more professional and acceptable in a work setting, but they kind of have that stylish techwear sort of vibe if that's what you're into. On the front of the bag, you have one big open compartment here. There's no organization in here with the exception of a key holder. To be honest, I don't use this key holder because it's on the front of the bag just for security purposes. I prefer not to have anything important on these external pockets, but if that's not a concern for you, you do have a nice key holder in here. Otherwise, just a big open compartment that covers the entire bottom half of the bag. You have a couple of attachment points and loops around here, which could be really useful if you want to hook a water bottle on or something along those lines. And then on the side, you do have one water bottle holder. This water bottle holder is nice, but it's definitely going to be a little bit smaller and more slim. So if you're on that, wide mouth, big 32-ounce hydro flask train, it might not work for you here. Look for something taller and slimmer, and it's going to be a really great fit for this. For the back side, you have that really familiar AER design, nice, super comfortable, chunky straps, and some good padding and ventilation on the back. You are able to use this as a luggage pass-through as well if you want to keep this as your carry-on bag or personal item on the plane. It does also come with a chest strap, but it is removable, which I tend to remove all of those on most of my bags just because I don't carry a ton when I'm walking around the city these days. I'm not exactly sure what AER does with the design of their straps or their back padding or the way the bags contour, but AER backpacks are always the most comfortable for me. I'm sure it's a person-to-person fit sort of thing, but definitely any AER bag I've tried has typically been just extremely comfortable, and I think the smaller form factor with the 14-liter in this one just makes it even more comfortable than the others that I've tried. They also have some really subtle branding, which I like. I'm a fan of their logo. I'm a fan of the restraint and subtlety with the branding. You have just a little AER logo right on the strap here. Then you have one more that's on the front right on here next to the water bottle. On the top, you have a really big sunglass case holder. It is going to be like a nice soft fleecy sweatshirt almost sort of feel for the lining. Really great so you don't scratch your glasses, but what I really love about this is the volume capacity. This tends to be my quick access grab item area in most of my backpacks, and a lot of times it's a fight for size. So if you're someone that tends to use this for more than just sunglasses, it's been really excellent for me. Getting into the internal, you have two separate compartments here, very similar to the original Tech Pack 1. I know in the Tech Pack 2, they actually have 3 compartments now. So this is going back to that type of design with 2 different compartments. pockets. The smaller front compartment just has some really familiar organization if you've ever had or used any of the other airbags. Just some really basic pockets and things. It's really subtle and tends to work really well. And I think all of the organization in here is going to be pretty intuitive compared to a lot of backpacks. So just a few pouches, everything sits nice and flat if you're not using it, but it's there if you need it. You know, you can toss your phone or a power bank. You have a spot for a pen. You have a zippered compartment here if you want to keep all of your cables right through here. And then you also have in this smaller front pouch a really deep pocket that goes in the front here. You could definitely fit, you know, one of the larger iPad Pros in here, or you could fit full sheets of paper if you wanted to keep notebooks or things like that in this front compartment. That's about it for the smaller compartment. Getting into the main larger compartment, you have one big laptop compartment here with that same nice fleecy soft padding that you saw in the sunglass case. It's going to fit up to a 16-inch laptop, so just about everyone is going to be covered in fine. It's also raised off of the ground, so it's going to keep it safer and more protected. On this back side, you have one more big elastic pouch here, and then flipping onto the other side, you have two smaller elastic pouches, and then you can see this big sunglass compartment, but under that is one of my favorite new features. You have a little spot for a tile tracker or an air tag. Really great for security. This is something I'm going to be implementing in my bags pretty soon, and I love that they have a little dedicated pocket for it. And not only is there a dedicated area, it's also going to be hidden. You know, if this bag gets stolen or lost, you know, no one's going to think to flip this out of the way to look underneath for a little air tag. So you have a lot of security with that design and style. For 14 liters, this thing can really carry quite a bit. Air always tends to do that. You know, it's like the TARDIS of bags. It's bigger on the inside. But yeah, I have had no problems with the space for this 14 liter capacity. I would say if you're someone that doesn't need to carry a ton of tech around, but just more of the essentials and basics for work or around town, I think this is a really great size for a lot of people. I know this is a review and I've given nothing but praise for this thing. I really was hard pressed to find a lot of complaints with this, but I'll go over the couple that I was able to come up with, and to be honest, it was really difficult. First thing, you know, you have a water sealed zip on the front here. It would be great to see water sealed zips around everywhere. You know, that's not something that's implemented. My only other complaint would be the size and capacity of the water bottle holder. You know, I have switched to smaller, tall, skinny water bottles in recent past, and so it hasn't been a big issue for my normal water bottles. But if you're someone that carries, you know, a really wide Nalgene or insulated hydro flask that's liter sized, or any of those like really large capacity wide water bottles, you're not going to be able to fit it in here. You know, it is able to compress back flat. It would have been nice to see if this could stretch out a bit more for that purpose. But otherwise, this bag for just daily around town use for me is about as perfect as it gets. Been a big fan of these smaller capacity bags lately. This takes a lot of what I love from most of my other backpacks and puts it all into one. So really huge fan, very little to say negatively about it. $150 too is quite the deal for something like this. The 1680D Cordura is overbuilt in my opinion, which is not a problem, but it's worth mentioning. You know, it's gonna last a really long time. That wraps it up for the City Pack though. Moving on to the City Sling 2. This thing has also been excellent. It comes in at $89 and it's made with the same 1680D Cordura fabric along with the same YKK zips and Duraflex hardware. You all know I like having a sling that can fit a water bottle. This one is 2.5 liters and doesn't quite fit any that I have in my arsenal. In some situations, it's a necessity for me. If I'm walking around town running errands for an extended period of time, I like having water with me, especially in the heat that we've been having here in Portland lately. And sometimes I do bring slings as my day hiking pack. You know, if I'm just doing like a shorter city hike, we have a ton of those here in Portland. You know, I will just grab a sling instead of my full day hiking pack. But this thing at 2.5 liters has been able to fit everything really well with the exception of a water bottle. On the front side, you have a little split open bag with a spot to hold your keys. Again, I tend not to keep my keys on these exterior pockets just for security security purposes, but if you're someone that doesn't need to worry about that, you have it there. This has been my kind of mask compartment when I'm going around town. I thought we were getting away from the masks, but they recently brought them back here in Oregon. But you have quite a bit of space in here. You know, in the winter, you could fit a pair of gloves or a beanie. Lots of options for this little front pocket because it is expandable as well. And on the opposite side that would sit closer to your body, you have one little flat pocket here, which is nice and large. This thing has been just a great addition that I haven't seen in any of my other slings. It's gonna be a little bit better security because it's close to your body, and it's a little bit harder to get into because the zipper is inset a bit. But this is where I tend to keep my wallet and keys and most of my important EDC type of items. I'll keep them right in here. It's quicker access for me to be able to get in and out of things as I need, but it's also going to be a little bit more secure, which is great. So you kind of get the best of both worlds, you know, a little bit extra security, but you get that quick access convenience. Getting into the main compartment, this is some of the most intuitive, nice organization for my EDC setup out of any sling that I've tried so far. You have one big open compartment here, and you do have a bit of depth and width, which is really nice if you need to load this up with extra things. You know, if I'm going to the grocery store and don't have my backpack, I'll throw in a couple of reusable bags in here, no problem. You have two little mesh pockets on the sides here. These are really great size for things like AirPods or maybe a power brick. And then behind it, you have one kind of wider, medium-sized compartment. This has been a perfect fit for my sunglasses, which I really love. And then on the other side, you have one big wide compartment with the AER logo, and then you have a nice zippered pouch as well. So just really simple but intuitive organization on the inside. It fits all of my stuff really, really well and comfortably. Like I said, it's some of the most intuitive layouts for my use case that I've tested to date. You have one little thin top handle here if you want to grab it aside from the normal bigger straps. And on the sides, you can see you have these little compression straps. So it's great, you know, you can let these a little bit looser if you're carrying a lot of stuff, but then you can tighten them up so it just keeps everything nice and close to your body. This is again one of the more comfortable slings that I've used. One last thing here I'll show with the sling on. You have this really nice sort of magnetic closure to be able to open and close if you want. This is not something I typically use. I'll usually still just throw it over my head. You can actually tuck the straps away underneath in here and throw it into a backpack or something if you're traveling. That about wraps it up for the sling though. This thing has been excellent with the exception of not being able to fit my normal water bottle. I really have zero complaints and always look forward to carrying this around since I've had it for the past month. I do think if you had like a memo bottle or one of those flat bottles, it would be an excellent fit. I would like to hear as a quick side note, has anyone tried those clear memo bottles? Do they work? They have really mixed reviews. I think the design is super cool, but everyone says that they leak. I'd love to hear your insights on those if you have any experience with it, because I would love to pick one up if they actually work well. Last but not least, we have the split kit. To be honest, this isn't something I've really had a chance to test in the past month, so not a full review, but I figured I would just go over it really quickly anyway. It's kind of like a baby sling. It's 0.4 liters in capacity, and it's just kind of meant to carry, you know, your few EDC items or anything like that. You can toss it into your backpack, or you can even fit this into your sling if you want, just to be able to pull out easier. You have a split front compartment here, just like the sling would, with a water sealed zipper. And then you have just one zipper on the top here that gets into the main compartment. No organization, you're just kind of meant to toss everything in and go. And you do also have this split on the bottom. You can unzip and then have a little bit more depth. I think this would make a great toiletry kit. You actually have a little loop to be able to hang it here. This would also make a really great tech pouch if you have a pretty simple, minimal, you know, travel tech setup. That's probably what I will be using this for moving forward. But yeah, I haven't been on any city trips in the past month to fully test this out, but I could see if you're someone that's going to the office every day and just want to throw in these casual items to be able to pull out of your bag really easily for your desk, this would be a perfect fit for that. That wraps it up for my review for the City Collection though. AER continues to impress me. Not only are they 10 out of 10 with the aesthetics and overall vibe of their bags, but they are some of the most functional and comfortable that that I've ever used. I should have links in the description down below, so check these out if you're interested in picking one up. Thank you all so much for watching though. I'd love to hear your thoughts down below, and I'll talk to you in the next one.